Okay. So then before we start to this week's topic, let's sing the mantras for Srimad Bhagavatam. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. I offer my obeisances to the Supreme Personality of Godhead Vasudeva. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tado Jayam Udirayet. Before reciting the Srimad Bhagavatam, which is the very means of conquest, one should offer respectful obeisances unto the personality of Godhead Narayana, unto Nara Narayana Rishi, the supermost human being, unto Mother Saraswati, the goddess of learning, and unto Srila Vyasadeva, the author. Shrinvantvam Swakata Krishna Punya Shravana Kirtana Hridyanta Stohi Abhadrani Vidunoti Suhrit Satam. Sri Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is the Paramatma in everyone's heart and the benefactor of the truthful devotee, cleanses desires of material enjoyment from the heart of the devotee who has developed the urge to hear his message, which are in themselves virtuous when properly heard and chanted. Nashtaprayeshu abhadreshu nityam bhagavata sevaya bhagavati uttama sloke bhaktir bhavati naistiki. By regular attendance in class on Bhagavatam and by rendering service to the pure devotee, all that is troublesome to the heart is almost completely destroyed, and loving service unto the personality of Godhead, who is praised with transcendental songs, is established as an irrevocable fact. Hare Krishna. So we go into this week's topic, which is Krishna's disappearance from the world, and also the Pandavas retire. So this part, we are covering two chapters, chapter 14 and 15 of Canto 1. And this is actually describing how Parikshit Maharaj becomes the king of the world, because we know Parikshit Maharaj is an important person that Vyasadeva is introducing to us. So because the main discussion of Srimad Bhagavatam happens between Sukadeva Goswami and Parikshit Maharaj. So who is Parikshit? We already learned, Sonakshi ji told us, remembering about how Parikshit Maharaj had a very special birth. And now we are seeing how he becomes the king of the world. So what happened was, Arjuna had left to see Krishna in Dwaraka, and it is 7 months had passed by then. So the chapter starts with Yudhishthira feeling really disturbed because there were many bad omens happening. You know, Yudhishthira could sense that bad things are going to happen by just looking at the environment, how all the signs, SIGNs, not signs. So signs are like, are good things happening? Is the time auspicious or inauspicious? So he was starting to see very inauspicious omens. So a few of them are mentioned that his left side of the body started to shiver. So he knows that is not a good sign. And then there were a lot of cheating and fighting between friends at that time. And within the family also, there was a lot of misunderstanding between the parents and the kids. Fathers and mothers was fighting, and well-wishers, and between brothers also there was fighting. Then husband and wife were fighting. So all the bad signs started to appear, and then his thighs, arms, and eyes, everything started to quiver. And then he started to hear jackals crying in the morning. Usually you hear a rooster crying in the morning, but he was hearing jackals howling in the morning, and dogs barking fearlessly all the time. So um, so he was very, very apprehensive at this point. Um, so um, he was also hearing shrieks of the owls and the crows. So all not very auspicious signs. And there was smoke encircling the sky. And there was no clouds, but there was thunder. And the wind was starting to blow very, very violently, and there's dust flying everywhere. So and then the rays of the sun were going down, and it appeared as if the stars were trying to fight among themselves, and everybody was confused. The rivers and the ponds were all like very agitated. The water was not still. And then it was very hard to even start a fire. Usually you put butter, and then for some fire sacrifice or puja, if you want to do it, all they had to do is pour some butter and the fire would come up. Now the fire wouldn't even light. So he was just wondering, what is this extraordinary time? Why is this happening? So even the calves, the little cows, the calves, wouldn't drink milk from the cows, and the cows themselves didn't have any milk, and they were just standing and crying with tears in their eyes. And the bulls did not even want to graze the fields, and the deities in the temple were also crying. And they were like, everything is bad is going to happen. So all these, Yudhishthira Maharaj was noticing all these and lamenting, and then thinking, why his brother has not returned? It's been 7 months. And then he also thinks that this world, everything was maintained, was so nice because Krishna was here. His footprints were on the earth while he was walking around. So that's why everything was so perfect. But then maybe he has left. So he already has in his back of his mind that Krishna is not physically present in the world anymore. And but he doesn't want to accept that. So then suddenly Arjuna comes in very, very sad, and his face is all glum, and he's not his usual self. So seeing Arjuna in like very pale and very sad, full of anxiety, he started asking questions to Arjuna. He asked about all the big kings in Dwaraka. He asked about Vasudeva, like Krishna's father. He was asking about Krishna's 7 principal wives. No, 7 wives of Vasudeva. So by like Devaki, and then he was asking about Ugrasena, who was the who was the father of Kamsa, but Krishna was giving shelter for him in Dwaraka. So he was asking about all these relatives. Krishna's father Vasudeva is Yudhishthira's uncle. So Krishna is Yudhishthira's cousin. So he knows everybody there, and they are related. So he's asking about their all welfare because Arjuna is returning from Dwaraka. So then Arjuna says, I'm so sorry to report that Krishna disappeared from the earth, and Balram has also disappeared, and then all the Yadus were fighting amongst each other, because that was Krishna's arrangement to take them back home. And then once Krishna leaves, he didn't want the kingdom of Dwaraka to be there. So because all the Yadus were actually Krishna's companions in spiritual world. So when Krishna leaves, he takes all of them back. So he just made an arrangement for them to fight with each other and then destroy each other. So their material bodies get destroyed and they go back with him. So, but Arjuna doesn't know all that. He was just saying that Yadus got destroyed and Krishna has left the earth. And so he was feeling very, very sad. Right. So then after that, here Arjuna is mentioning about Krishna leaving the earth planet, and then how there was a big fight between the Yadu dynasty, it was Krishna's dynasty in Dwaraka, and all that happened because of the curse of Narada Muni and the Brahmanas. We had discussed this during Mahabharata discussion, and there is not so much detail mentioned this chapter, but quickly, Krishna's son called Samba, this is Jambavati and Krishna's son, he dressed as a woman and he was asking the great sages, would this be a boy or a girl? They were trying to make fun of the great sages, and then the sages cursed him for acting. They said he would give birth to a iron rod, and then that caused the destruction of the whole Yadus actually. So what happened was this iron rod, they threw it in the ocean. A fish ate it, and then folks ground that into it became like these weapons, and then everybody started fighting with each other. All this was so this was one curse by the Brahmanas, and also if you remember, Gandhari had cursed Krishna that he was the cause that all the Kauravas died, and so all that Krishna was arranging so that it was time for him to leave. He removed all the bad people from the earth, and it was time for him to go back after his mission was complete. So this is all his arrangement, but externally it looks like it is because of this curse, and they're fighting with each other and all that. So finally the Arjuna tells about these stories, and then he says that he was so sad when he was coming back. He couldn't even fight those inferior to him. Like earlier, he used to fight and defeat everyone. Now he was not able to defeat even some of the people who were coming to hurt the women. He couldn't really protect them well. And all this he knows is because Krishna wasn't there. And so he was very sad, but then he started remembering all the good things Krishna did for all of them. So if you remember, Pandavas had gone through a lot of problems, and Krishna was the one who was protecting them when either Bhima was poisoned. He arranged for snakes to come and take the poison away from Bhima. When they were about to get burnt in that palace, he arranged for Vidura to come and protect them. And there are so many instances. He was the one who arranged for Draupadi to marry the Pandavas, because he was there in the assembly. He was the one who protected Draupadi's sari being taken away. He was the one who protected the Pandavas when Durvasa Rishi came with 10,000 disciples to eat, and they would have cursed the Pandavas, but Krishna came and ate a little morsel from the Akshay Patra, and he made everybody's tummy full. So Durvasa Muni left. Durvasa Muni was sent by Duryodhana actually, because he wanted Durvasa Rishi to curse the Pandavas, but Krishna came and saved them. And Krishna was the one who saved Arjuna all the time in the war. There were many instances where Arjuna could have been killed, but Krishna protected him. So Arjuna was thinking about all these nice pastimes, and then his dejection and sadness went away. So all of us, though we are not physically present next to Krishna, just reciting his Mahamantra like Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, or hearing his pastimes, we are actually associating with Krishna. Because his name, fame, qualities, pastimes, they are not different from himself. So when Arjuna was thinking about all these good activities of Krishna, he forgot his sadness, and he felt like being with Krishna, and he didn't worry so much after narrating all these pastimes to Yudhishthira. But Yudhishthira, hearing all these pastimes, he decided that, oh, it is time to leave the kingdom. He didn't want to continue anymore as king without Krishna there, and then Kali Yuga was also starting. So he decided that this is enough. Now I'm going to make Parikshit the king. So he made Parikshit, who is an important person that Vyasadeva is introducing us with the story. Now, how Parikshit Maharaj became the king of the whole world, and all his uncles and aunt, everybody, his grandmother, all of them were going to retire now. So the Pandavas were getting ready to go back to the go to the forest to spend the rest of their life and leave their body. So that's how the Pandavas decided to leave. And then also there's this Krishna's grandson Aniruddha. Aniruddha is Krishna's son, and Aniruddha's son is Vraja, Vajra. So Vajrana was made the king of Mathura by Yudhishthira. So he gave the next generation the kingdoms. So the main king, of course, the king of the universe is Parikshit Maharaj, and king of the earth at that point, because Hastinapur was the head office. And then Mathura is a small kingdom. So that was given to Vajra. And then Yudhishthira decided to put on all tattered clothes, just like you see in this picture here, where it's white clothes he's wearing. And he decided to leave his kingdom and go to the forest. And then all his brothers decided to do the same, along with his wife, Draupadi, also and Subhadra and Draupadi and all the Pandavas, they went back home, back to Godhead that way. Like they all left, and then soon they left their bodies to go back. And because they were such great devotees of Krishna, they were able to reach the right destination. They didn't have to take birth again in the earth and then go through the whole cycle over and over. They went back home. And then also it's mentioned that Vidura, who had left earlier, he also left his body at Prabhasa. Prabhasa is like the place where the rivers meet. And he left his body there, and he went back and became who?
Yamaraj.
Yes, he went to Pitruloka and became Yamaraj, because we discussed how he got cursed and he had to become Vidura, right? So now his earthly life was complete. So he went back to Pitruloka. Right. So, any questions on what we discussed today? We will go to the Kahoot. Where's the Kahoot? Okay, the game pin for today is 4481319. So we are covering little by little. We are covering Canto 1. We finished until chapter 15. Okay, Ice Queen and me are in. Radha Chaitraji is in. Okay. Hemanji, should we wait for you or get started? Okay, Hemanji is in with a very cryptic name. All right, let's start. So Krishna's disappearance and Pandavas retiring. Okay, how long was Arjuna gone from Hastinapura that Yudhishthira started seeing bad omens? 1 year, 10 years, 7 months, 1 month. So at the beginning of the class, he said 7 months he was gone. He had gone to Dwaraka. Okay. Oh, none of you got it right. So 0 for everyone. Second question. Why was Yudhishthira seeing bad omens? He did not wake up at the right time. He killed his relatives in war. Dhritarashtra had passed away. Krishna had disappeared from earth. Yeah, all of you got that right. Okay, next question. Okay, Ice Queen is in first place. I know that is Sonakshi Ji. Then it is me, who is Ayana. Then there's Radha Chaitra Ji, and then there's Heman Ji. Okay, why was Arjuna feeling sad? He was defeated by inferior fighters, feeling separation from Krishna. He couldn't protect the Yadu women. He couldn't stop destruction of Dwaraka. Oh, all of you got it right. That's awesome. Okay. Who did he make the next king of the world? Parikshit, Vajra, Arjuna, Bhima. Yes, Parikshit Maharaj. Arjuna also left with Yudhishthira. I should have said who did Yudhishthira make. I don't know why I said he. Okay. First, me, Radha Chaitraji, Ice Queen. Fifth question. Who was the grandson of Krishna, son of Aniruddha, that Yudhishthira made king of Mathura? Parikshit, Vajra, Nakula, Sahadeva. Yes, Vajrana. Okay, next is a true or false. Yudhishthira renounced his kingdom and dressed in torn clothes. True or false? True. Yes. He renounced his kingdom and gave it to Parikshit Maharaj. True or false? The Pandavas, Draupadi, Subhadra went to spiritual world after their lives on earth. True or false? Yes, all of them went to spiritual world, the Goloka Vrindavan, to be with Krishna, because they were devotees of Krishna. Okay, last question for today. Where did Vidura leave his body and go back to Pitraloka to take his post of Yamaraj? Prabhasa, Hastinapura, Naimisharanya, Kurukshetra. Yes, Prabhasa Kshetra. That's where the confluence of all the rivers happen. So let's see who won. Third place goes to Hemanji. Second place goes to Radha Chaitraji. First place goes to me. Not me, but Ayana. Okay, congrats to all the players today. Doesn't matter if you win or lose, it's about participating. And thank you so much for your attendance every Saturday to learn about Krishna. I so much treasure your presence and helping me to prepare for class and be with all of you. So thank you so much. Hare Krishna. Pancha kalpatarupascha kripa sindhupi evacha patitanam pavanepyo vaishnavepyo namo namaha. Have a great week. See you all next week. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare
Krishna
Krishna.
Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.